An angry man is a slave, and a peaceful one is a master. Anger is a choice, and when we've been lugging around our anger for too long, we've simply missed the opportunity of choosing a peaceful response instead of flying off the handle. There's a fraction of a moment when you're granted the opportunity of making a choice: be a slave or become a master. But most of us have never learned how and when to make that choice, because by the time we realize it, we're too busy trying to fix all the damage that's already been done. Relationship ruined, money blown, opportunity spoiled, character tarnished, or job jeopardized, leading to a life full of regret. Let me introduce you to an important concept. There's a common pain scale used in hospitals with your doctor. They're going to ask you, what is your pain level, 1 to 10? We're going to use this same scale for anger. On a pain scale of 1 to 3, that's like getting a paper cut or stubbing your toe or bumping your head. With anger, it's a lot like not getting that package you were expecting from Amazon, or experiencing bad traffic when you're running late, telling your kid to go to bed for the 3rd time, or your car getting scratched. These things are mild, but they're strong enough to ruin your day. On a pain scale of 4 to 7, we're talking about a deeper gash, falling down the steps, or maybe even breaking a finger. With anger, it looks like getting blamed for something you did not do at work, or your kid got bullied pretty bad at school, or your wife is yelling at you because you're not helping enough with the kids at home, or maybe you simply failed at a project that was really important to you. These are hard events to maintain peace through, but with the steps I'm going to outline, you'll make a ton of progress and quickly. Pain scale 8 to 10, we're talking about losing a limb, battling cancer, becoming disabled, or getting mauled by a lion. With anger, it looks like being betrayed or wrongfully terminated, a loved one dying, your child getting seriously hurt, your business completely failing, or giving up on yourself. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that if something like that happens to you, that you shouldn't be angry. If someone told me to calm down after my wife had passed away, I probably would have drop kicked them in the head. We're not going to eradicate all the anger in our life. I'm here to help you with anger issues ranging from the pain scale 1 to 7. These we can manage without a deeper, more extensive investment. And becoming angry can lead to a ton of terrible consequences because you've already said the thing or done the thing that you wouldn't normally do. But the damage has already been done. And it's not just that either. Anger causes a ton of harmful physical consequences, including high blood pressure, headaches, gastrointestinal distress, and anxiety. A Harvard study actually discovered that a single burst of anger is strong enough to cause a heart attack. Best thing to do? Don't get angry, bro. Yeah, it's not that simple, but it can be if you know what ultimately causes you to be angry or frustrated, and it's probably not what you think it is. All of what angers or frustrates you is typically out of your control. And I'm not going to sit here and teach you all about emotional regulation, because your emotions, they'll regulate themselves once you understand the power behind managing something infinitely more important: your attachment. What is attachment? Let's make it easy. Think of attachment as expectation you have for some event to be or person to act the way you want it to instead of the way it is. I talk about attachment a lot because it's solely responsible for basically all of the suffering in your entire life. In my previous video, I break down why it's such a terrible investment mathematically. It's pretty cool, so be sure to check that out. But since this video is all about mastering your anger, let's break down why attachment or unmet expectations trigger your anger in the first place. Attachment is expecting a desired outcome or experience and wanting to control what's happening to your liking instead of accepting what's happening as it is and elevating your mindset or perspective. Let's break down a few of those prior examples. Bad traffic, or your kids not getting sleep, or how about something a bit more trying like your wife tearing into you because you haven't been helping around the house enough? Who promised you all these kinds of things wouldn't happen? Where is it written that you never have to endure unexpected traffic, disobedient kids, or being accused of not being good enough? You make these promises to yourself. Anger is a result of placing impossible standards on yourself and your life. It's not the crappy traffic, the kids screaming past their bedtime, or 6 hours of silent treatment that's upsetting you. It's your attachment to the idea that life should be free of these complications and flow flawlessly. This is insane. Traffic is normal. It happens every day, and accidents, detours, and construction are literally part of the recipe. You don't like them, so you get angry when you're caught up in the perfectly normal circumstance. Children misbehaving is simply children acting normally. I'm going to repeat that because it's so important. A child misbehaving is a perfectly normal event. It's like clouds in the sky or water being wet. My fiance cares for our 2-year-old son and our entire household, so she manages about 4,300 tasks every single week. Why would I expect her not to feel a bit overwhelmed at times? What help is it to the overall environment if I take it personal every time she's feeling upset or alone? Maybe I can step up more. Maybe her yelling at me isn't wonderful. Luckily, my fiance is not that yelling kind of type. She's more of the silent treatment kind of gal. But it's par for the course to be accused of not being enough for someone else. Here's the kicker. That doesn't make it true. It's perfectly normal for these kinds of things to happen, but that normal makes you angry. But does it have to? The answer is no, it doesn't. I'm perfectly calm right now, but I could be very, very, very angry because my dog was just barking at the Amazon delivery driver, disrupting my filming here. I'm going to share later on the steps that I just used to find my peace, to let go of the anger and create solution instead of just marinating in all that frustration. So the next time you find yourself in traffic or wrangling your toddler or on the receiving end of a death glare or cuddling your dog, ask yourself, who promised you this wouldn't happen? What contract did you sign agreeing that you'd never have to experience this exact event in your entire life? It will humble your anger pretty quickly. The hard part is catching the anger before it devours you, ruins your mood, your day, or even worse, a relationship, an opportunity, or your very character. I'm sure you know the consequences of you becoming angry. There's real no benefit or win. That doesn't mean it's not supposed to happen. We need to learn how to dump the emotion. Here's the thing, you're most likely not a monk living out his path to enlightenment in the Himalayas, and you just happen to stumble upon this here video. You're an ordinary man, and ordinary men feel emotions. We just typically bury them. This is normal, like a misbehaving kid kind of normal. So it's not that you're never supposed to become or even stay angry for a little bit. It's all about processing that anger as quickly and efficiently as possible, then centering back in on your line of peace. While learning to hack your mind, it's healthy and even encouraged to allow yourself some grace through the learning process. Get angry, let it all out, scream in your car, punch a pillow, tear into that sparring dummy. That's your exhaust pipe, baby, and it's growling and rumbling as you release that emotional buildup. If you've already caught your anger and tried centering back in on your line of peace with the method that I'm about to share, but your hands are shaky, your breath is shallow, and you're kind of looking for a fight, well, then you need to let off a little steam before you'll actually feel peaceful. Here's an epic technique I use for incinerating my anger. You're gonna wanna do this in a nice, safe place, not in front of other people, because you're gonna look like a crazy person if you do so. You're gonna take a nice deep breath for 7 to 10 seconds. And while you're taking that deep breath, I want you to tense your entire body, kind of like you're catching a 100-pound medicine ball. Tense your arms, your shoulders, your chest, your legs, everything. Really strain your body there as if you're wringing out a towel. Then hold that tension and that breath for another 7 to 10 seconds. Then you're gonna dump it. It's kind of just a massive release, like an exhaust pipe there. Press your hands away from yourself and do a double exhalation. This is what it looks like, and I'm gonna speed it up, do it a little bit shorter for you to preserve some time here. Again, you're gonna hold that breath and that tension a lot longer, about 20 seconds in total, and then run that 3 to 5 times in a row, repeating that process. Shake your arms out in between, dance around a little bit, feel all that tension pour off of you. Some of you may feel like you just got through an epic workout or a hot, steamy, romantic rendezvous. I'm serious, you're gonna feel a sense of calm and palpable relief. If that doesn't do the trick, consider a freezing cold shower, an intense workout session, a long solo walk, cycling through breathwork, or journaling, or all of them combined if you're facing something really, really challenging. I've also got a lot more on the way in an upcoming video about balancing your nervous system in order to balance your mindset, because stress is the #1 cause of anger. We're not really getting mad at all this stuff on the surface level. There's a current of rage and pressure kind of running below the surface that's ultimately responsible for taking us down that unwanted path. Eliminating that current is what I do, because stress is based on your beliefs and your perspective. Both trigger not so great thoughts and emotions, which then make you feel horrible. The fastest way I've discovered for reducing stress is by releasing attachment and staying present. And that goal perfectly aligns with mastering anger because they're pretty much one and the same. The same thing causing your anger is the same thing causing your stress. Attachment. I'm going to teach you how to release your attachment to life being other than what life is with a step-by-step process. This is what I used just now while I had to kennel my dog. This technique is part of a broader discipline which I call the habit of better thinking. This isn't a one and done approach. It's like learning to write with your non-dominant hand. It has to be a daily habit until you've mastered it. And at that point, you won't need to run through the steps one by one. You'll be able to bullwhip unwanted thoughts or attachment right out of your mind like Indiana Jones. Before I share the steps, I need you to imagine something. I want you to visualize yourself swimming or treading water in the ocean. The sun is setting, it's looking all glorious, there's birds calling in the background, the palm trees are flowing, and you are on your line of peace, completely tranquil and serene and not a bother to concern yourself with. You don't want to come off this line because if you dip below it, you become angry and stressed. If you rise above it, you experience joy and gratitude and fulfillment. I personally don't care if you rise above your line of peace. My goal is to keep you from sinking below it. A peaceful life is a life well lived. I also know that if you learn to master your peace and stay on that line, that you're naturally going to rise above it once in a while because life will bring you some kind of occurrence that makes you excited or fulfilled or happy. So the very first step in hacking your mind and mastering your anger is observation. Catch yourself when you've sunk below your line of peace and you're feeling angry. Step 2, reward yourself. Great job, Joe, for catching yourself feeling a little off. Let's center back in on peace and presence. Feel that reward of gratitude for actually catching yourself because you're taking back control of your life. Step 3 is to center. Take 5 to 10 very deep breaths using your diaphragm, and then use your senses and analyze your immediate environment. What are you seeing, tasting, touching, smelling, hearing? Step 4 is to detect. You have to find that attachment trigger and ask yourself, am I expecting life to be other than what life is? The answer is always yes. Step 5 is to release. Let it go. Realize this is probably out of your control and that you're going to choose peace instead. And step 6 is gratitude. Challenge yourself to find the higher perspective and feel authentically grateful instead. And then the final step is presence. Come back to the now. Take a deep breath and enjoy the moment for what it is. What happened through this whole overall process is this. You were in a negative space below that line of peace. You observed it and then basically you stopped it. You threw a wrench in those wheels to stop yourself from getting even more angry. Then you rewarded. That's like positive reinforcement with a dog learning a new trick. We're taking ourselves and giving ourselves a little boost of pride to feel good that we're taking taking our life back and releasing the anger. Then we're centering. We're coming up to a neutral space where we're just seeing life for what it is and experiencing the now. Always our liberation of any kind of emotional kind of stress and anger is in the present moment. You're free of all that. So you're firmly establishing yourself in that presence. Then we're realizing, well, what was the trigger? Well, it was this thing that I didn't want to happen. Then you realize, well, that's simply attachment and I have to let it go. Then we have to find the gratitude. If I'm stuck in traffic, I'm grateful that I have a car. If my wife is mad at me, I'm grateful that I have a wife. Maybe not really grateful in that moment, but ultimately, I'm really grateful to have this person. You're basically going to represent why you have gratitude in that moment to help yourself feel positive about that event. Because it's usually just a neutral event, you just need a little help finding the positive. And then we're retraining our mind. Now that we feel positive, we feel that authentic gratitude, come back to presence. This is our salvation. This is us retraining our mindset. This is where we stay, man. This is where we're good. We're at peace. There's no stress. We're not angry. And we're going to stay here for as long as possible. The important thing to remember is this: it doesn't matter when you catch yourself being angry. It could be 3 minutes after the event or 3 days. It matters what you do in the next moment to create your peace. As soon as you feel that bubbling up of anger, try to catch it and then make your way through that technique and don't miss a step, especially in the beginning. This is you taking back your peace and creating a beautiful life for yourself through reprogramming your mind. If you have any questions at all, I am here to help. Just ask in the comment section, and otherwise, I'll see you next week.